With the recent release of the new Ahsoka Show from Star Wars, I think it is fair to say that there are two characters that I can compare and make similar remarks to than that of Qui-Gon Jinn and Baylan Skoll, two of some of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars lore, and two, as I said, that share very similar views of things like the Jedi Order and its ways, and so many other different areas of life. If you are somebody who is coming here who is watching the Ahsoka Show and is a big Star Wars nerd like me, be sure to give this video a like, and I am currently trying to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers on this channel right now, so your support would be greatly appreciated. So starting off with Qui-Gon Jinn, let's get the basics out of the way. He was a Jedi during the time before the Clone Wars and prequel era. He was an apprentice under the stewardship of Count Dooku and trained his apprentice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But what lies inside of the man himself is where the big details lie. He was a man that very much questioned everything around him, even if he knew that the light side of the Force was where to be. Some of his many questions stemmed from some of the Jedi's cultural ways that included notions of what it means to kill. He believed that the Jedi could not be too rigid, yet could not also give into the dark side. He came to believe that instead of meditation to see the future, he believed in living in the moments of life, and that one's focus on the future shouldn't compromise the concentration on the present, and that instincts were to be trusted more. So clearly there is a very huge disconnect between what he believed in versus others, say someone like a Yoda or a Mace Windu or any other Jedi who was previously on the console during his time. Again, even though he sought to choose the light side over the dark side, there is still something about him that always wanted to question everything around him. He never believed in the notion that even the Jedi should have been staged on Coruscant for the main Jedi Temple, and that it only served them to be a part of the Republic and not their own. These are just some of the many facts that established who Qui-Gon was as a person. He is a character that, for that reason alone, is one of the more loved characters, but also one of the more divisive characters in Star Wars. In the end, though, one of the reasons that he as a person was loved from the movie side of things anyways, was because Liam Neeson played him so well. It doesn't matter if it was in The Phantom Menace or if it was his little short cameo in the Obi-Wan show, Liam Neeson was a great pick for the role, and so that is kind of the basis of who this character is. This now moves us over to the man I'm comparing him to in Baylan Skoll. Firstly, I want to say that this character is absolutely fantastic, and in every way, shape, and form, he is being played greatly by the actor Ray Stevenson. May he rest in peace. So right then and there, that is the first point I want to make, is that I think both actors play the characters extremely well and in a way that basically resembles each other with how they give off their cadence and their mannerisms. I went back and watched the Phantom Menace scenes with Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, and it really is a stark contrast between the two. Now, admittedly, this is a little harder to speak on considering we don't know a whole lot about this character other than who he's been in the show and the details that he's given of his life and his views. Baylan is a character that, in my eyes, resembles more of Ahsoka in the sense that he is somebody who's not a Jedi and he's not a Sith, but he leans more to the dark side than he does the light side. That is also why his lightsaber color is more orange than it is red. He's a conflicted character, but one who has strong views, kind of like how Qui-Gon did. In the show, he expressed how he lost faith during the time when he was a Jedi, as we know that he was a general during the time of the Clone Wars. He went through Order 66 and he saw many Jedi be killed. One of the main details of his views is that after Anakin betrayed the Order and he killed so many of his friends, he had such a disdain for him that only then carried over to Ahsoka when he told her that her legacy was to cause death and destruction just like he did. In the most recent episode, we got even more information to suggest his views were more heavily in disdain for the Jedi Order and its ways. He says that he misses the idea of the Jedi Order, but not the truth of what lied beneath it, which is something that I think Qui-Gon always alluded to. Deep down, the cultural ways of the Jedi is what gave them lack of focus, and in doing so, this gave someone like Baylan the idea that there was really nothing there. My best guess is that he also came to learn this way more even after he became a mercenary when the Jedi Order fell. So in a way, this kind of mirrors a lot of what Qui-Gon saw. The only difference is he saw that when the Jedi Order was still around, but Baylan seemed to view that more after the fact. Again, these two characters have their differences based on one being more to the light and then the other to the dark, and then the time in which both view things the way they did. At the same time, this also really makes me wonder if Baylan as a character was young enough at the time to have met him or was just acquainted of him through rumors, because I for one don't truly believe, at least not officially, that he ever was somebody who spoke to a character like Anakin. I'm sure lots of Jedi knew of every single one of their colleagues at the time at the temple, but even then I'm sure some Jedi just probably never once talked to each other. I don't don't know, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but until I see that was never the case, I will hold to my belief on that. So yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing more I can really say again with the limited amount of knowledge that we know about with regards to Baylan's character and his views on everything. I can only say so much here. Again, I think these characters do share a lot of similarities, which is why, in a way, I think if you were to compare each of them to one character, it would be themselves. And I'm sure some people will probably question why I'm not comparing Qui-Gon to Dooku instead of Baylan. Well, for one, I think that even though Dooku trained Qui-Gon, there was very clearly a big disconnect between the two of them in terms of how they view things of the light and dark. The episodes of them in the Tales of the Jedi show was another way for us to show that big disconnect. Dooku became a Sith Lord, and that was something that I don't believe Qui-Gon was ever in favor of. Sure, the two of them might have looked at the Jedi Order in a similar way, but you can't forget the fact that there was that big disconnect. I feel like Baylan connects more with Qui-Gon in that sense, simply because of the fact that he never turned to the Sith. I think there is that light side part that is inside of Baylan that he'll never let go of. The final thing I will mention in this video that I think is very important to keep in mind is that we are only 2 episodes away from the end of the season, in which I'm not sure if the character of Baylan will survive or if he will be killed to the point where we are not going to learn more about him. I'm also not sure if any new information will be revealed to suggest that this video makes any more or less sense. This was also just in a way meant to be a fun type of Star Wars lore video to make where I can nerd out about this stuff and maybe also talk to you all if you have any theories about this. This is now where I want to get all your thoughts down below in the comments and tell me everything that you think about what I had to say here today. If you did enjoy this video, please again be sure to give it a like and subscribe, as again I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs on this channel. I'd greatly appreciate that, and I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and may the Force be with you.